Good morning. Today we are going to see a case study, World Problems in Mathematics. Contest. The school is a private Catholic school in the area of Kingston, NY, with about 200 students ranging from kinder, kindergarten to 8th grade. The particular class used in the case study consists of 11 mathematics students that make up the whole 8th grade class of the school. Two of these students receive academic intervention services AIS 3 times a week outside of a normal class period for their difficulties in mathematics. Desks in the classroom are arranging into groups of 4. The students are split into 3 groups with 3 students and one group with 2 students. These students are preparing for the LOA test of basic skills ITBS, where they will be being tested on their skills in English language, arts and mathematics. Learning objectives. After completing this course, the learner will be able to utilize teaching strategies to create motivation and learning objectives for a problem solving lesson. Then differentiate various student strategies to create effective lesson activities and evaluation. Assemble a problem solving lesson by utilizing strategies they learned in the course. Methodology. The assignment for the unit was to simplify, reflect on your experience about word problems. So I completed a reflection of my own personal experiences. My personal experience with word problems can be broken down into 2 groups. When I was a student and I was teaching in a mathematics classroom, mathematics was always one of my stronger subjects while I was a student, but I did seem to have difficulty with word problems. It was rarely an issue of messing up the computations. Instead, much of my difficulties across from analyzing the word problems, pulling out the essential information, and deciding on a strategy in order to solve the problem. Similar to what Victoria Keller stated, children may be able to correctly compute equations. However, when put in words, students are at a standstill. My personal reading implements resulted in me becoming very frustrated with word problems and led to me asking for contest help from peer and teachers. Over my personal reading implements results in me becoming very frustrated with word problems and led to me asking for constant help from peers and teachers. Over much time and practice, I eventually became much better at disciplinary word problems to pull out the important information necessary to solve the given problems. Much of it credit to patience, not being afraid to reread the word problem a couple times and underlining, scribbling information in the word problems to organize my thoughts. These personal experiences as a student have helped me develop teaching strategies that help the students in my classrooms gain the skill necessary to solve word problems. One of the ways I was able to improve my skills was my practicing different word problems on a frequent basis because constant practice led to positive results. To ensure my students receive this frequent exposure to word problems, I provide an assignment at the beginning of each week called the problem of the week, which provides students with the mathematical word problem to be completed within the week of the school. These assignments are not meant for students to just solve the problem. Students are required to show multiple steps to solving the word problems, such as underlining the important information of the word problem, providing a strategy they will use to answer the question, showing all their work along with the answer, and including an explanation about at the end of how their answer relates answers the original question, giving students constant practice with different word problems and requiring the problems to be broken down into steps allow students to practice and understand the steps necessary to solve world problems and checking that they are being solved correctly. Findings: I found that during the reflection process, I broke my personal experiences into ones that occurred while I was student and while teaching in the classroom. It was not specified in the directions of the assignment if we were to concentrate on just our teaching experiences or if we were allowed to bring in our student occurrences with word problems. Conclusions: a change I would make to assignment 1 in Unit 1 is to specify that the learner should reflect on not only their experiences to word problems from a teacher's point of view, but also the experiences they faced as a student in a mathematics classroom, requiring the learner to reflect on what worked for them with solving word problems can lead to better realization of what is necessary for students to acquire these skills and what teachers should include their lessons to guarantee student understanding of word problems. Unit 2: Teacher changes for students solving word problems. Aims and objectives. This case study of Unit 2 focus on teaching strategies that can be splitted to help students that are experiencing difficulty with solving word problems. The two stages suggested are the use of metaganism and scaffolding. The key objective for the unit is to differentiate various student strategies to create effective lesson activities and evaluation. Methodology. The assignment for this unit was to write a learning objective and motivation for your lesson utilizing the information in regards to teacher strategies. As I read through the unit material, I thought about how students can benefit from intertwining the metacognitive skills with the six scaffolding steps to solving word problems. If students can analyze, plan, and monitor each step they take in solving word problems, they will be guiding themselves deep into each word problem, which will lead to full understanding and confidence with working on these types of problems. The objectives I came up with for my lesson are as follows. Students will be able to use the necessary metacognitive skills to analyze word problems, select an appropriate strategy to solve the problem, and monitor the problem solving process to ensure that it is carried out correctly. Use the metacognitive skills, awareness, planning, and monitoring with each of Kazani's 2010 steps in the model of skillful problem solving. Findings. With the actually unit, the laying out of metacognitive teaching skills and scaffolding steps to solving word problems are great strategies to bring forth to the learners. I personally already used a form of the six scaffolding steps with my current students, so I got to add the metacognitive part of the unit to my classroom environment. I found it took too long for me to find the correct video. The website link does not allow the instructor to link the single video, as so the learner has to scroll through the list of videos to find the correct one. One of the greatest things I got out of my objectives was that my students went way more in depth with solving the word problems than they would have without the lesson. Having students self instruct, self question, and self check each step they take throughout the world problems is the key for them to be observed into very aspect of the problem. The students seem to understand the word problems more in depth when they were forced to spend time using the metacognitive skills for each step. But I could tell they found using this method redundant. Many students complained about writing out each their self thinking for each of the six steps and how it was too much writing for a mathematics activity. Other students felt that they were at times over analyzing parts of the questions and were not concentrating on or forget to do the necessity arithmetic of the problem. Writing is a different kind of activity for a mathematics classroom, but it is a different way for students to show their understanding and to make the material stick even better in their minds. Over analyzing can lead to complication issues with understanding and solving word problems. So this is something to consider with the whole class and more specifically the individuals showing difficulties. Conclusion. Metagonism and scaffolding are two teaching skills that should be included in the construction of lessons for solving word problems. For the metagonism video, I would recommend putting as a caption next to the link. Metagonism video session 9. So people can locate the video easier among the full list of educational videos on the website. The issues of the feeling of redundancy among my students, I believe, are due to the procedure created for my lesson, not due the objectives created for this particular assignment. For more on the procedure used for the lesson, see the Unit 3 case study. Thank you. That is end of this session.